shifts potentially happening between Bush Bandits, Fortnites, and the Dusty Dogs. And even Rift Raiders and Lucky Llamas, if they come out strong today, they could jump up a few places. So I'll be excited to see how the score settles down after today.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, before we continue, what do you think you're looking forward to seeing in the meta? Obviously, this week we saw the introduction of the Quad Crasher. We've seen some very interesting clips, things come out of that, like rotations and whatnot. What do you think?
So when the Quad Crashations with the Quad Crasher, it's definitely something that's really early. And if I see a team pull something off, it will be insane and risky. But I really do hope we see someone use it in the late game rotations, because you can go flying with that thing, and people will not expect it. It's very fast.
Very fast indeed. With that, we'll take a look at the format. Every week we swap things up. We're returning to a fan favorite Royale Flush. Keep in mind we are on the duo format. Victory Royales are worth 3 points. Second and third place are worth 2, and fourth and fifth are worth 1 point.
Eliminations. 8 eliminations is going to net you 3 points. 6 to 7 is going to get you 2, and 4 and 5 is going to get you 1 point. And if you end up getting 8 eliminations and the Victory Royale, it's going to be a Royale Flush. It's going to get you an extra 2 points. And don't be surprised if the team that ends up coming home in first place is the team that gets the most Royale Flushes.
That's right, and there's also a bonus incentive on top of the Royale Flush, and that is if a team lands a Royale Flush, they're going to get $10,000. That is per Royale Flush. Before even placing Cypher, on top of that, we have the extra $25K for most eliminations in a single match throughout the day. That'll be for NA and EU. And these happen before even placing. I mean, take a look at the prize pool on top of the club points. It's going to be a big day.
Yeah, and most likely the team that ends up getting the Royale Flush outside of placements.
Yeah.
And if a team does get Royale Flush, they're almost guaranteed to be placed. So it's a lot of money.
Can't wait, ladies and gentlemen. Home, don't forget to use that hashtag. There it is. That's all you need to know. With that, though, we're getting ready to one. So what are you hoping to see coming out of the European scene, Cypher?
Well, there's a lot of really steadily moving.
Constantly.
Last I checked, it was somewhere near the middle.
That's right.
Near Dusty
right between Dusty and Tilted Towers. Things are happening. Things are moving. Let's not forget, we also have returning competitor Alanis Mitro here, who is paired up with someone he's very familiar with. So, you know, it's going to be a pretty interesting day, all things considered, but you have to be in the air longer.
Yeah, and the longer you are in the air, you know, the people who land early, they'll have more materials. You know, you could land and people will already have a few hundred materials and shields and weapons. It'll be interesting to see how people use that center island, because I've watched a few scrims recently.
Right off the bat, take a look at this. Solary, MZ, and Airwalks. One of the, when you're fighting against people that are kind of turtling, you force them to take fights.
Very rapid shots. A lot different than any of the other explosives in the game.
Yeah.
Razaru is here and there. The Boogie Bombs recently got changed to where they drop in stacks of 2. And it's extremely useful when it comes. Oh, Chef also has a set of Boogie Bombs, so that's 4 Boogie Bombs for Chef and Razaru.
So they're gonna make it rain Boogie Bombs.
Oh, they're gonna be dancing, yes. So if they can use these properly, they can clean up this very easily. Even a really good player getting hit with a Boogie Bomb, a lot of times people become very predictable. He has the Porter Rift, so if they need to get out of here, they can. There's also some rifts right outside, so it'll be interesting to see. I think both these teams right now are just kind of, they want to see what the other team wants to do. Are they gonna fight? Are they gonna, you know, rotate out? They're playing it very safe, and that's just kind of how you have to go in the early game.
Yeah, Razor is definitely familiar with this type of territory. This is not a new place to him. You heard one of the boogies go off there. Jarl making that rotation around. Beehive's dropped low as well.
Razor is really weak right now.
Is he going to go down? He's solo.
He went down. It's a
now, keep in mind, there wasn't really much healing around in general. So, unfortunately, Beehive is going to be having to deal with this small health pool for now. But like you talked about, man, they've got all these rifts here. They also have the rift to go as well, so they can make some rotations. There's
maybe a vending machine that could have shields or medkits available. You always got to remember the vending machines. A lot of people tend to forget them, but when you're left alone like that, you can farm and you could potentially get medkit or a shield or minis off of the vending machine. Retail Row, 2 teams here as well. They're both busy farming and collecting loot. Some good weapons on Pathway, the silenced epic assault rifle and the golden heavy sniper. So
that's what you just like start the game. You're just like, let me just find the most
up north. So we might Steven collide here, or those guys might just back out.
Over to Rasmussen. and Azrod, who are actually near that floating island like you talked about. And again, I mean, just look how many people are close by. Alliance, Tick, and Sif down below in Dusty Divot. We saw it's not, I would consider this like a safe circle. You know, not many people have to go that far to get into the safe zone, which is good.
Speaking of the circle, a lot of times teams who land in the center, you know, they might be contested, but if they can either eliminate the teams that contest them or rotate away, the benefit of being in the middle and being in the initial circle is you have a lot more time to farm and collect fights.
Over.
Mark. Ooh.
He's not looking good over at Snobby Shores. He's currently
got the
pinned
trap down.
Does it eclipse? One player adds his drop low, but he is now down, and they are going to execute him for that elimination. That was actually super low. He goes down. Ads goes down. His teammate is up top. Riddle gets it down. Is it enough?
That is insane that he not go their way. Little build fight over here.
Lucky landing, seeing some action. Now keep in mind, the storm is starting to move. We got a minute 30 before it overtakes this area. So they need to start making this disengage. Dalo and Dollar Games against Jules and his teammate. Now they've got the high ground. I mean, look, they got the porta fort. The mats are looking real low. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Dollar Games is just keeping his
pouncing
teammate.
on him.
It's Brox there, Uncle Brox. And now look, they just keep him down. They just have to keep him pinned down, keep him away from Jules. But look, Cypher, the storm is
already coming in.
in.
This is one of the downsides of landing near the edge of the map is if you get into these fights and they last too long. But I mean, even winning this fight, it's not really a true win for them because the storm, the lack of resources. So like these guys, you know, luckily for him, he has a med kit, and maybe they have some loot that they acquired from eliminating those opponents. But now they got to rotate in the storm. Low on resources, low on materials. When you get into those early game fights, it's almost like, and you try to win with as minimal, you know, building as possible. But sometimes you build too little, you end up losing the fight.
Right, exactly. Now Blacksuit here engaged. He's coming out of the storm. Ooh, almost takes fall damage, but he's okay. Now he drops and cracks that player for a lot. We see. I promise I will do my best to protect you.
Good pyramid right there to block him from entering. There is a trap here, I believe, so he's going to be a little bit more cautious trying to get in there. I think his teammate just took him out.
Yep, there you go. Both are eliminated. Poverty and Yoshi goes down. And now they get some more loot. You know, again, they're at the very edge of this circle. Not super great for them. They need to start making the rotation. You can see the little yellow diamonds up by Lazy Links. That is Blacksow and his teammate Madsen. But look, we're over near Tilted. Look at
Tilted. You see those people flying across. Most of them are using the Loot Lake floating island, and they're getting in there. So there's going to be a lot of people. I mean, there's already a lot of people in that area, and the reason because of that is because of the Loot Lake Island. People are using that to rotate, and there's more teams that are going to be rotating in right now, and I don't know if they realize how many people they're jumping into. Now, luckily, there's a lot of cover in Tilted Towers, but they got to be careful here. It's going to get really tricky, especially if this next circle goes even further towards Snobby Shores. All those teams rotating out of there, it's going to get messy. It's going to be a lot of people going down.
Yeah, for sure. I think they should try to make rotations down by like Shifty. I mean, the assumption would be if you're going to make rotations, they're Raiders currently engaged in Pleasant Park. Boogie Bomb on the floor. He picks it up. Ooh, they get cracked for just a little bit. Now, Carnifex still okay. He's topped off. He's ready to go. They also have the med kit.
Yeah.
Yep. But look, it's...
and they're playing aggressive. Like, at this point, they've already invested enough time to these guys. They want the elimination. They want the resources. You know, when you, like, they're investing their time instead of, you know, looting or farm towards the trap to try to get them. But these guys are smart enough. They're not going to walk into the trap. There's no way. Ooh. It's a 1v2 situation right now.
What's interesting is they don't execute Crabble there. They're just leaving him up alive. They're kind of forcing it. If they can find Carnifex, that's 500 potential brick heading their way as well.
And they need it. At this point, they've already... Like, they haven't wasted time, but in their mind, if they don't come out of this with the loot that these guys have, then it's been a waste. Wow.
Crabble. Mitro takes him down.
That was a good attempt. That was a good attempt coming in there with the pump. He really had to... When you're in a 1v2 situation like that, you just have to, like, risk it. You can't play too safe. You have to hope that you land your shot and potentially knock one of them out with a well-placed pump shotgun shot. So that was a good attempt, but Mitro and Villix, They're scary.
They're scary, man. Raid bosses indeed. Look at the top there. Tixi, Kinstar, 4 eliminations. So Cypher, they've got themselves a point on the board. It's pretty good. Now keep in mind, run. He's like, look, I'm going to build. I'm going to distract you. Tixi, you can run in, go full send, get the eliminations, my friend. Let's take a look at this replay from Dalo and Dollar Games. Oh, this right.
You know, you could do a lot of damage like from a distance, and then your partner goes in and finishes them off just like right
like
here.
That. Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah. So it's not to say that Kinstar's not good because he doesn't have eliminations. Yeah. It's just his teammate Tixi finds those that we would say like the final blow, if you will, right? Yeah.
Yeah. For all we know, Kinstar could have done the most damage.
99 damage.
Yeah, and then. At the end of the day, this is a team game.
That's right.
The elims is what matter. I'd be very interested to see where Keenstar and TC currently are on the map in terms of their positioning. Because if they are in
top 10 every game, Mitro still alive, still running around this game. He's a terror. Even the likes of someone like Rasmussen, another player in Atlantis, Kinzo, even Ghost is his duo partner. There's a lot of stacked duos here. And again, this is just game 1, right? This is just like that filler, that feel it out game, right?
Yeah.
People are just like, first game, just warm up, just see what happens.
Typically, game 1s are played a little bit slower. People want to just get the feel of it. Maybe get a point or two place, make it to the final. There's a big influence on your confidence levels when you make it to the final 10 on your first game. You feel like, okay, we have what it takes to make it there. Let's keep doing that. Some clingers coming in.
And he's even got the
oh, they're committing
clinger as well.
Clingers and
this is gonna be a battleground. All right.
Definitely.
Now what's good? Oh, I thought that scared me for a moment. They're wearing the same skin. Okay, good. What's gonna be tough here, like you talked about a little bit, it's just kind of navigating the space, right? We're kind of a lot of these players have already made their way into.
We're actively searching for teams to eliminate who potentially might have that, or get the resources that you need. A lot of times, people will play safe when they have the resources, but for example, materials. And that's why they're playing very aggressive here, and they're going for the risk. And it's going to pay off. There's a chug jug, there's some materials. Great pressure from these guys. Holding the low ground, playing safe, shooting from the edited window, and now the materials are stacked in the safe zone.
They're good to go. And that's a Kinstar call. I'm going to tell you right now, Kinstar is the guy that says, look, we need to make it to these safe zones. We're going to fortify, and we're going to show people that we're here. Because the thing is, as well, Kinstar builds a very specific way. So when you see it, you're like, oh,
yeah,
that's Kinstar.
Nice little tunnel they have going on here, replacing the enemy walls. They have like more health, and you're more prone to going down. But they both are healthy, and they both are sharing the resources well. So being Kinstar.
Let me take a look for you.
Oh, man.
They are not.
Oh, they're not? Okay,
they are not.
I take everything I said back. I hope they go down the next 10 seconds.
Oh, my gosh. Over to Paffy and Noisy, though.
See, this is where it gets a little scary, because what happens is if you get caught out of place and you attack with grenade launchers, but they're doing a good job of defending and putting the walls up, so people might stop shooting at them. But if at any moment you look like you're taking too much damage, or that you're running low on resources because you're cycling through your materials, everyone around you is going to make it their job to try to take you out. Now right here, Paffy is
not looking good.
He's not looking good, and more people are going to potentially start shooting at them once they realize that.
That's such a great point, because like, even looking up just a little north, you see a player that's just med-kitting. No one's shooting at them at all.
Yeah.
Whereas Kinstar and Tixi, of course, everyone's like, hey, pile on these guys, make them use their mats, we'll shoot at each other. Don't shoot at us, shoot at them.
And most of the people on the map are away from the circle. And the people who are near the circle, they still might have to go up that hill. So,
especially with the safe zone, it's like half encompassed in the storm.
Yeah.
So you have a super small space to work in. I mean, look at it again. You see people on top of each other right now and continue to make their way into that current safe zone. That's a great point, though, Cypher. Look, this is going to get really crazy really quickly.
Rotation. And if you can get away with rotating without using that, look at all this loot right here.
Oh my. That's another player.
That's he's trying to snag the loot. Oh, that did not go well.
For it. Oh, no, it was Paffy.
Oh, the Porter Rift, that is so clutch. But like I said, you need those resources to make those late game rotations, and that's why people play a little bit more aggressive, especially if they're low on resources. Keenstar is very weak right now, and him and TC are just running around, and they're hoping that they don't get shot. You see how they're not really, that's what it is. And if they can do that, that's great.
And that's a great point because you can utilize other players' builds to do that.
Yes.
But as you can see, they're onto it. They're like, hey, we see you guys. Nice try. And so now Tixi and Kinstar are in a bad spot, right? They have to sit here and fortify while everyone is just barraging them right now. Just like you talked about, he's one away from getting 2 points on the board for his duo.
Did Nitro win last week?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wait. You mean like overall? Who was the winner?
Overall?
In Europe?
Yes.
I will get word on that because I'm not 100% certain. Let me get word.
I mean,
but he did really
yeah.
well. Yeah, the new safe zone. They've got to make their way back into the storm. What's interesting too is back over old builds, but Billix is down, and it's not looking great.
It's up to Mitro. He's not gonna be able to pick up.
Yeah, he just needs to go. Yeah, Billix is down.
He's got enough materials to try to make this work, and down. It might be a little too tough. Storm's closing in on him there, so he has to be careful. Keep moving.
There is a lot of players going down. We're down to 28. The new safe zone is going to start moving in 10 seconds, Cypher. It's almost time to go. And I am getting word Boyer won last week.
Yes.
Mitro, though, putting up those big numbers as well. So here we go, Cypher.
It's
time to start moving.
In terms of placement, was it the top? First place gets the 3 points.
Yep. Victory Hour is worth 3. Second and third are worth 2. Fourth and fifth are worth 1 point. Yep. So now they're probably shifting their mindset a little bit, right? They're like, okay, well, there's
a little bit, and that they're able to make it to the top 5.
That's right.
And then the people who are, maybe 1 or 2 limbs away from getting a point, they might be looking for that. Wild card Bowman and Alpha have that high ground.
I believe it's Solary Kinstar who takes down Mitro, and look at the kill feed light up. People are being eliminated left and right. Alliance Tumble takes down 2. So now they need 1 more, Cypher. They are so close. They have the potential to get the Royale flush right now. We see people going down. Kinstar goes down, though. He's currently knocked. Tixi is by himself. Dude, yeah, it just needs to be Tixi. He needs to go by himself. He's got the double barrel.
Oh, my goodness. 10 eliminations total. 8 from Tixi alone, and he's looking for more. There's 9. He's gonna get the double digits. Oh, the storm just stopped moving. There's 2 people on top of him, unless he tries to maneuver out of here.
Yeah, he's got to go now.
But it's going up the hill. Oh my!
He could make it. It's gonna be really close. Double barrel's out. He's gonna find another.
Going for the spread. They're all looking at him.
Not enough, but Tixi and Kinstar land 11 elims. 9. Cypher.
9.
This is all going down. What just happened? We've gone down. Cypher, what just happened?
Okay. The wildcard duo, they had the high ground. At no point were they being contested due to the fact that it was going up a hill. So everybody who was climbing up the hill were fighting each other. And they were able to just stay up top and avoid all the combat. So they get that easy victory royale. And it's good that they held the high ground early on. Sometimes when the high ground's held and it's kind of like a easier place to work with, not on a hill, people will try to contest it. People will try to, grapple up there. But it was so hectic down there that they kind of were left alone. And what I assume happened is one of them stayed up top to heal, and the other one went down to try to get as many limbs as they could before it went down, and also to mess other people up who were maybe trying to heal through the storm. Tixi, at the end, just went on a reign of terror, took out so many people. They are currently in the lead, I believe, for the most limbs.
Yep, that is 11. Tixi by himself dropped 9. And, I mean, we saw there at the end, Kinstar went down, and you got to think Kinstar's like, dude, just go. Just be free. And Tixi's like, cool, double barrel out. Where is everybody? And I believe at that moment he had just hit 8 as a duo, and then he picked up 3 on the way down into that little nook we saw him in at the very end. That was a pretty explosive game 1 to start the day. Now, I'm curious to check out some of the replays coming out of this last game. So, keep in mind, victory house worth 3 points. Second and third place are worth 2 points. Fourth and fifth are worth 1 place. This is also another team as well hit that 8 elimination threshold.
Yes, I think we had 2 teams hit the 8 eliminations, unless there was another team that slid pirates. Because if you're not right in front of your opponent, you're not going to get the damage that you're looking for. Right here, great spray from Heisel to secure the 7 limbs, and then he finishes them off for the 8 limbs. So Heisel and his partner are the second people, and you'll notice that. in that late game, action, that's where you get the most elims, potential and easy elims where, if you have a good shot, you have a good loadout, you get in there, you bust out your shotgun, finish them off with the SMG. Both teams, Heisel and Keenstar's group, both got most of their eliminations in that last 2 circles.
Yep. And that's interesting to talk about because you got to think throughout the whole game. There's like two ways of thinking, I guess you'd say. You say, okay, look, we're going to play for placements, or we're going to play for eliminations, maybe both. And so to say, because we tuned into Tixi and Keenstar at one point, they only had 4. Keenstar had 0 and Tixi had 4 eliminations. And we thought, that's not a lot. And then they're like, don't worry about it. Final circles, we're going to pick up eliminations. Don't even worry about it. And that's what we're seeing. So Wildcard Alpha picks up the Victory Royale. But we still have 2 teams that drop 8 eliminations in game 1. So just off the bat, they're going to get the 3 points coming in on the board. And if Tixi and Keenstar maintain the 8 eliminations all day, they're going to get $25K.
That's great. But and going for those elims is going to get you the 3 points and potentially another $25,000. I'm gonna say that they might break their own score within the next few games, or another team will come out and break it for them.
You got to hope that's the case, right? Because we want a little bit of action, want a little bit of underdogs going up. But, for you guys at home, what do you think of that first game? Hashtag Fall Skirmish. Use it. Rep your favorite club. Talk about how incredible Cypher is. And obviously, talk about 11 eliminations here in Game 1 coming out of Keenstar. I mean, I'm not even surprised, right? Keenstar is a dynamo. He's a robot in obviously the most positive ways I can possibly use that word. And
Tixi's like a robot. He's just he goes in there, he put me. Yeah. He took some damage, but he ended up eliminating them. So, what an excellent player, honestly.
That's a good point, because in those final moments, it gets really hectic. You have to maintain like so many different things all at once. Like, how many layers up are we? Layers down? How many players around us? And just like you said, Tixi walked in, is like, double barrel, you're down. Swap to shotgun, you're down. That's 2 more for me.
You got to have that mentality in the late game. People are like scared. They're like, okay, we got to be careful. The circle's closing in. There's people all around us. If you get scared, you're gonna like not be the first person to shoot. And in that situation, you want to be the first person to shoot. You want to be the first. People in the early game, they farm, they get the weapons they need, and they hope that they get to the late game with enough resources to take out the people who are unfortunate enough not to get the resources or spend the resources early, and now they're a weak team. So even if like a duo like Keenstar, they're excellent players, but if they only do so much farming, you try to get as many resources as you can. You find another team, try to beat them without spending all your resources, and that's what they did. And then they had enough to go into that late game and take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, especially for the likes of we saw Mitro go down, the titan that he is. But it's interesting that Keenstar was the one to dethrone him for that game. Yeah. So obviously, when 2 titans clash, one has to be winner, and in this case, it was Keenstar. I like that we saw Mitro as well land.
Team inside feels like they have the advantage because they're inside. The other team has to break in.
Right.
But that wasn't the case. Like, their aggression split them up. They made it from a 2v2 to a 2v1, and then they just took out both players.
Yeah. So, man, what an excellent game 1 to start the game. Don't forget, we have 5 more games. That's right, 5 more games just like this heading your way throughout the day. We'll hop into game number 2 shortly. But my, oh my.
It was a good game 1.
We'll tune in. We'll give you guys some insight in the club rosters soon. Don't worry. But yeah, man, what do you think? So, do you watch a lot of the European gameplay?
I do watch Solari. I watch their stream. They're constantly cycling through their players. I've seen Tixi. Tixi, if you didn't know, he holds a lot of the world records for most eliminations in like solo squad duo. Like, he's one of the best players in the world. We'll see. Next week at TwitchCon, they're going to be there going against the likes of Poach, Vivid, the Liquid Boys, and also Ghost. 2 of the top.
Cannot wait. I just got super excited. Next week is TwitchCon. Don't forget, this is week number 5. It all culminates next week at TwitchCon. And keep in mind that is in Europe. It seems they kind of have a slow start, right? We saw a lot of those players toward the end have plenty of resources to go around, where in NA, you typically don't see that. Everyone's kind of like burning through materials trying to survive. But what's interesting is we saw that lobby at 70 players at one point.
Yeah.
70 players. That doesn't happen. These aren't normal pubs, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting that you point out the difference between the NA and the EU competitors, because the style of play is a little bit different, and it's something to look into, because you're right. The EU guy. Yeah. Game 2 coming right up.
Game 2. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. Nitro, again, we saw him getting taken down by Kinstar. I want to see what he can do to show up in this next game. Keep in mind, though, we do have 5 more games. So that first game, again, was like a warm-up, right? You got to think. A lot of the players are like, look, it's good. This is just the first game. Tixi and Kinstar, though, they were like, hey, first game, let's drop 11 eliminations, obviously.
And, you know, the people who do well typically in their first game, they're going to try to repeat it.
Yep.
They're confident now. They want to go with that momentum. The people who did bad, they're like, all right, this is our game. Let's do this. Focus up. You know, I don't want to get eliminated off spawn. You can see Razaru and his partner going back to Motel, but I think this time they're uncontested, which is... No, actually, they're stretching towards... they're actually stretching towards Junction. The team that eliminated them went back to Motel.
You see a duo landing at Pleasant. I would assume that's Mitro. If I had to take a guess.
It's funny because that kind of rolls over into the other games where the weapon that you wanted, or you might not get the shields that you wanted, but winning that early engagement tells the other team, hey, back off. And then that team most likely will not come there. And then now you have an uncontested spot the next game. So these early encounters kind of roll over into the other games.
Right. But M11 and his duo are like, okay, we see them across the way. I think we saw specifically M11 or his duo had just an AR and a medkit. That's all they had. And look, they're just near each other like, okay, what do we do?
Chef might not know that they're there. I mean, maybe he's just very relaxed, but he could get lasered here. If these guys time it properly, he turns the wrong corner.
That's a great
They'll
point.
take him out very quickly. He's about to be out in the open right here in a little bit if he goes for that chest that's on the truck.
Oh,
there it is.
All that team over at Pueblo, they just found 2 eliminations, so they just took out a duo, but back to Haunted Hills. Now, what's interesting, too, is Razor was shot from up top on the castle up on Haunted Hill there. Yep. So now Razor's like, dude, wait, I'm getting shot at. You're getting shot at? What's going on? We're pinched. What's going on?
They are in the middle right now. And man, I like landing up there. It's new. It's season 6. They added that castle, and maybe rift out of there if you need to.
So Razor's teammate Chef is down. He is by himself. As you can see, the duo up top picked him off, and then the duo down south, they're just leaving. They're like, hey,
was it the duo up top that took out Chef?
I believe so.
I don't want to mess with them this early.
It's like Team Tixi and Kinstar are having basically the same luck right now. Kinstar is down. Tixi is by himself.
That's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed. Now over to Wailing Woods, where we see 2 duos going at it.
Bunker underneath the maze. This was also recently added, and it's such a great place because, one, if you can control it, you get, you can loot and get resources. There's a lot of brick walls here that you can break down. There's also a rift underneath in this bunker that you can use to get out of here. Now, I'm not closing in right now as we speak, so if they don't get out of here quickly or eliminate the other team quickly, it could get ugly getting stuck under here with the storm on you.
Just taking their time. You can hear chest. Harmy on the other side of the ramp. He sees Harmy. Harmy's like, nah, I'm good, man. I would like not to fight right now.
Very, very good with your close countering.
Right. Adds there, goes down. The likes of Harmy. Now they're just trying to close in on Blacksu.
There he is.
Look how far back he ran.
You see how he noticed? That way you can slip away. Because as soon as you build, it's very easy to hear the build and see it in action. And then you go, okay, this guy was here.
Exactly.
But if you can try to slip away without building, kind of like this, a little bit, you might be able to get out of there without too much both missing health, not a lot of shields.
Yeah. About 75 between both. Yeah. Just about.
But this rotation is going to be very, very important in terms of where they land to potentially get some of that shield back. Because I don't think they can really get into a fight with a healthy team right now.
Yeah. Take a look at Trimax and Gray Fox, who are near Fatal Fields. Well, look who else is around them. You got Mr. Carrero. They're just chilling.
Yeah,
and this is kind of where we're seeing that a little bit of a lull, right, Cypher? You know, like we kind of touched on earlier. They play a little slow, play a little safer. They've got the max. I mean, look, just off the bat, 600 wood to go. I mean,
yeah, but he has 600 wood, and there is blow over there, but he's using line of sight for the trees, and he's trying to get his resources up. Trimax and Gray Fox, they're doing a good job of staying there, but 600 wood, that's not really a lot in these type of games. You can go through 600 wood in just one fight. So them sitting here right now, being healthy and just looking for
They're just chilling. They're trying to gather information, which is good, but there's not many people, two duos engaging, and they're like, look, we'd like to third party this. Please. Skyart is down. It's M11 as well. Look, Mitro
took the high ground.
Yep, he's
opportunity to take the high ground. They do have to be careful. The storm is right on their back. I don't know how far. The circle is actually a decent bit away from them, so they have to make this quick. And I can expect Mitro and them to rotate out of here, maybe even with no limbs if they have to, because if they're smart enough, they'll realize, okay, the circle's gonna close. They do have a launch pad and grapplers, so maybe they're banking on that launch pad. I don't think they're gonna let him. They smell blood in the water.
Goes again.
Rennick is rotating out. Rennick is rotating out.
Are they gonna let him? He's gonna med. Yeah, he just med.
He got it off.
That's interesting. They
probably didn't know that he was down, and okay, there we go. They got the pyramid, but now that he realizes that he's rotating out, it's very smart of him to